Hey everyone, it's Carolyn. Welcome to the channel. Today I have another collective reading for you. So for today's collective reading, we're going to be looking into your past life. So personally, I love past life readings because I think not only do they give you great insight into your past lives, but they also give you a lot of insight on this current lifetime and what you can expect or different karmic lessons that might be affecting you. And so I think they're really just a good way to get to know yourself on a deeper level and bring awareness to things that are affecting you subconsciously. I do want to say that since this is a collective past life reading, the details are going to be a little bit vaguer because not all of you had the exact same past life. And so while there's going to be a similarity for those of you whose reading this is not going to get into specifics the same way that a private past life reading would do for you individually, because there's going to be slight nuances for all of you. So as you watch this past life reading, just take what resonates and leave the rest. If this reading does resonate and you're drawn to leave a donation, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you do want to get your own private reading, I sell them on Etsy, or you can message me on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. All my links and information is going to be in the description box down below. I am going to be posting more past life readings on my channel because they're one of my favorite readings to do. So if you're not drawn to watch that reading, that's okay. I'll have other collective readings linked in the cards above for you to watch instead. And I'll also create a playlist for these past life readings. So as I post more past life readings, you can go and check out that playlist. For those of you where you are drawn to watch more than one past life reading, that's totally okay and it's normal. We all have multiple past lives. And so when it comes to getting a past life reading, not only is it giving you insight to that past life, but it's typically giving you some form of guidance that you need in this present life. So if you're drawn to watch multiple different past life readings, it could be that they have different ways that they're playing out in your ongoing life that you need to hear and understand in order to maybe change your behavior or understand a pattern or some sort of karma that's affecting you in this present lifetime. Before I get into the reading, I want to say welcome if you're new to the channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I would love to have you a part of the family. I post new videos every single week. As you know, I'm going to be trying to post more past life readings like this. I also post other collective readings to give you guidance that you may need. And I also post educational videos to help you all in your spiritual journeys. So getting into your past life reading today, for your cards you have imprisonment or slavery, the arts, farm, wisdom, ships, angels, spouse, clarified by the Lover's card, leaving or travel, vows, forgiveness, and galactic. So with this ships card, to me this is indicating that in this past life you were very much your own person. You had your own unique style. I sense that you were a bit eclectic. I think you wore things that a lot of people around you weren't wearing, or it was seen kind of weird to wear them. And not in like a necessarily bad way, but in a way where you definitely stood out. I feel like you were definitely well known and people would recognize you fairly easily. I get the sense that you could have been a little bit bigger, so you could have been a little bit more muscular, and that also made you stand out among others. With the arts card, I'm also getting the sense that you were someone where you have a really big heart, so you're very creative, and so you were really like a problem solver and people would go to you for advice. But I also get the sense because you were very creative but you had a rebellious energy about you, this also made it where when you would get into problems you would find ways to try and get yourself out of them, and they worked a lot of the times. But I feel like you did it a little bit too often and it ultimately ended up getting you in trouble where you kind of put yourself in a situation that you really couldn't get out of. And that's why we have the imprisonment or slavery card. To me, I feel like you were put in prison. I think that you ended up hurting your spouse because you have the spouse here clarified by the Lover. So what I think happened in this past life that unfortunately kind of led to your death is you were married and you ended up cheating on your spouse, and they found out about this. And I don't get the sense that they killed you, but I think what they did is you were in trouble with either some other things that were going on, or there was something that you did while cheating that they were also able to turn on you. And I feel like they snitched. I feel like they got you thrown in jail and they kind of took everything for themselves. So now everything that you had, they now have. And so you were thrown in prison. I think you had a lot of regret. I think you regretted it before you went into prison, but I think like the fact that you were in prison, you had no contact, you weren't able to communicate. It's like all you could really do is like sit and think about what you did. And I think ultimately you ended up dying in prison, and I feel like you died kind of with a broken heart because you never actually got this resolved. Now this spouse that you had in this past lifetime, I feel like some of you who are watching this in this current lifetime, like you have met your twin flame, you have met your soulmate, this is not them. Honestly, in this past life, I feel like you got married very quickly, you got married very young, that you were not able to explore all your options. You didn't actually find your soulmate or your twin flame. The person that you're with in this lifetime is not that person. And I think that's potentially why you did cheat in this past life, is because you never really found your person. Your spouse didn't fully understand you, and it's like you were looking for someone who understood you, because like I said, you were this very unique person. You really stood out. You're a little bit eclectic, and so you were not everyone's taste, and so you never really felt like you found your match. And I think you went out cheating. You did it in a way that ended up causing a lot of pain and ended up hurting you in the end. But I think that's where your motivation stems from, because in this past life you have forgiveness here. And so I don't feel like you purposely went to hurt people, but I think this past life was meant to teach you how to gain wisdom of your own actions and to forgive yourself. Because I think in this past life you really just flew by the seat of your pants. You really just did what you wanted, and you were very rebellious, that you never actually took time to think about the consequences of your actions. You never took time to be mindful. And so it was kind of like you were living life jumping from one thing to the next, and eventually caught up to you, and then you weren't able to do anything. And so that past life, it was meant to teach you forgiveness. It was meant to teach you how to gain the forgiveness of others after you would hurt them. I think that's something you really didn't do enough of in that past life, is actually try and gain forgiveness. And I think, being thrown in prison when you just sat and thought about everything that you did, I think it kind of was a wake-up call that you needed to realize how much wrong you have caused people, whether it was intentional or unintentional. And I think another part of this past life was so that you would learn how to forgive yourself. I feel like in this past life you never really did forgive yourself. I think you died kind of with a broken heart. You were full of regrets when you died. And I feel like that past life was kind of for you to make mistakes, for you to see how much pain you really are capable of causing, and face that remorse, face that guilt, so that moving forward in past lives, you would have some more wisdom of just how destructive you can be, so that you would be a little bit more mindful about it, and that you would then actually make that step that you never did in that past life to actually gain forgiveness. With the farm card, I definitely sense that in this current lifetime, there could be a lot of generational karma that's been following you from that past life. I feel like in this lifetime, you might feel more guilt, more shame. Some of you could feel some anxiety around hurting others, where it's almost like you have this fear of accidentally hurting someone when you haven't even done anything to hurt them, and that's stemming from this past life. With the Angels card, to me this is indicating that there is someone from your past life who followed you into this lifetime. But I think for majority of you, this isn't someone who's physically with you. This is giving me the energy that that person who followed you into this lifetime is acting as your guardian angel. So if you were someone where you feel like there's someone looking out for you, someone who has your back, whether you call it like spirit, angels, guardian angel, whatever, like that energy, that presence around you who you feel is guiding you, that is their energy looking over you. I feel like they could be a part of your spirit team. For those of you where you feel like this is a person in real life and you always have like a joke with them that they're your guardian angel, or even some of them it's like they're your conscious, they are actually from this past life. And I think they were one of the only peoples in this past life who actually forgave you. And that's why they're in this lifetime with you, because you are learning forgiveness. And in this lifetime with the vows card, you are meant to keep your promises. You're meant to keep your vows. I feel like a lot of you, you're going to learn in this lifetime how to keep true to your promises so that you don't end up hurting people. I also get the sense that for those of you who are looking to find love in this lifetime, you're actually going to be able to do so. You're going to be able to stay committed. I feel like some of you might struggle with some commitment issues, but that's because of, again, this generational karma that's following you. And I feel like you're going to be able to heal that. It might take some time, some energy, but eventually you and your person, you're going to have a loving and committed relationship. You're not going to make the same mistakes that you did in this past life. And I feel like a part of that is that you are actually going to take enough time to find your twin flame, find your soulmate, whatever you want to call it. And you're actually going to find someone who's a match for you. I feel like you're not just throwing yourself into things willy-nilly like you did in this past lifetime. I also get the sense that in this past life, galactic, that is representing your passions. And so I feel like you were really motivated to explore, to travel, to see the world. Some of you, you actually wanted to be the captain of a ship. And it's like you never got to do that. You never got to do the things you wanted to do because you got thrown in prison. And so because you weren't able to have your freedom, all those dreams and those passions and those ideas got cut short. And so in this lifetime, advice that your past self is wanting to tell your present self is, with this leaving or travel card, to go out and do the things you want. Don't be as carefree, don't be as reckless in the sense where you're doing it to other people's destruction, but make time to do the things you enjoy. Make time to take moments and enjoy the simplicities of life. And that's why you also have the farm card as well, because this is reminding you to keep things simple, not to overcomplicate them in this lifetime. This is a lifetime in which you're meant to enjoy your life. And I think a lot of that is because you do have remorse for who you were energetically in this past life, that you don't want to make those same mistakes. That's why with vows, it's like you're righting these wrongs. You're forgiving yourself, and you're actually able to make this a life that you're happy with, and one that's not full of regrets like this past life. It's like you're healing and understanding everything that went on in this past life on an energetic level. And because of that, you gained all the wisdom that now you're not going to repeat those same lessons. The universe doesn't have to teach it to you twice because you understood it. And so I get the sense this past life was one for you to mess up, make a lot of mistakes, so that in this lifetime you would have that knowledge and you would have the tools to use with your own wisdom to not repeat those same mistakes. I really get the sense that that was a lifetime in which you had a lot of things affecting you that you didn't know how to deal with properly. And so you just pushed them down. You kept them underneath the surface. You didn't do a lot of healing, and you were not aware of yourself or your own behaviors or what they were leading towards. And that's why you never made a change. And then when you got thrown in jail, it's like you had all this time to actually start to become a bit more mindful. But at that point, it was almost like too little too late. And so that's why in this lifetime, you have done the work to begin to change. And so I think there's a lot more awareness in this lifetime. I think you're a lot more mindful. I think you really are conscious of a lot of things that you weren't aware of before, and it's making you have that wisdom to now go out in this lifetime and not allow yourself to self-sabotage like you did in that previous lifetime. And so I get the sense with vows, leaving and travel, galactic, this is a lifetime for you to make up for those things and enjoy your life. Actually get to explore your life, figure out who you are in a non-destructive way. This is a lifetime in which you're meant to be happy. You're not meant to be full of regrets. You're meant to fix things. If you do something wrong, you're going to be able to find a way to gain forgiveness, but not in a way that's toxic like you did in this past life. It's going to be in a way where like you're actually going in and you're doing the work to change, to better yourself, to improve the situation, and to actually earn the forgiveness, not just ask for it. And that's why you're meant to have good things happen to you in this lifetime. You're meant to end up righting the wrongs of this relationship and actually find who you're meant to be with. You're meant to go and travel and live the life that you want, doing the things that you want. With this galactic card, this is saying that there's endless possibilities for you. Whatever you want to do in this lifetime, you're capable of. You just have to allow yourself to come up with a creative solution, but in a way that's beneficial for you, because this energy is still inside of you. This past life energy is still a part of who you are. And so you are a very creative person. You're able to tap into that energy and bring it into this lifetime, but just use it in a way that's not going to hurt you like it did in the past life, because it wasn't your creativity that ended up hurting you. It was the ways that you were using it, and you were using it to get yourself out of things that you shouldn't have been doing in the first place. I also get the sense that a lot of you, because you were so rebellious in this past life, this was like your phase to kind of revolt against everything. And in this lifetime, I think with the farm card, you're a lot more simple. You have a lot more core values, that you are following tradition, and not necessarily mainstream tradition, but it's like you are finding out in this lifetime what's important for you, and you're sticking with it. To me, it feels like you're very much aware of the things you're doing, what you're working towards, what you're building, and you're working on very specific goals because they're what you want. And I think that's why you're being told with this travel card to don't be afraid to take a little bit of a pause or a little bit of a break and do things that also excite you, because yes, it's great to be working on your goals, building the life you want, but you have to enjoy the journey. Don't just focus on the destination. And the reason why your past life self is telling you this is because they were so focused on the end result that they ended up not even being able to journey at all because they were stuck in prison. Like you weren't able to enjoy your life and do all the things you wanted to do. And so your past life self is looking at you like you have all these options open to you. You can do whatever you want. You just have to go for it. And so don't waste this life because you're too afraid to take a little bit of a risk. You have to find that balance between your past life self and who you are right now. I think they're encouraging you to take a little bit more risk. And so in regards to past life karma that's followed you, I really think it's just about learning your lessons, you know, having remorse, being mindful not to go out of your way to hurt people, or when you do hurt people, you do your best to actually make up for it instead of just like letting them sit and deal with it themselves. It's like you're trying to take accountability in this lifetime, and I think as long as you stay on that track and you allow yourself to be aware of everything you're doing and all your actions and what they're leading towards, I think in this lifetime you're actually going to be very happy. I think you're going to hit the milestones and the goals that you want, and I think you're really going to have a really happy and fulfilled life that's making up for that past life. So I don't feel like that past life has followed you where you now have negative karma that you need to be worried about. I think as long as you continue to be aware of the lesson and allow yourself to understand that wisdom, your karma is going to be okay. You're going to have good things. I think if you slip back into that pattern of your past life self and you start to do things recklessly and you start to hurt people with no regards to their feelings, then yes, I could see that negative karma coming back, but it wouldn't be because of that past life. It would be new karma that you're gaining because of your actions and their own consequences. And so I almost feel like this lifetime is making up for everything that you missed in the previous lifetime. Almost like if you didn't get thrown in prison, if you had made better choices, you would have had like a really happy life. And so this lifetime is making up for that life that you kind of lost, where I feel like things are going to be relatively good for you. You're going to be happy, you're going to keep your commitments, and you're going to enjoy this life. So I hope this past life reading resonates for you. If it did, let me know in the YouTube comments down below. Also give this video a big thumbs up and share with others who need to hear it. If you're not already subscribed, please do so. I would love to have you a part of this family, and make sure you turn on that bell notification so you don't miss out when I post future videos. I post new videos every single week, and I'm going to have other videos linked in the cards above for you to watch now. If this reading resonated and you're drawn to leave a donation, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want to get your own personal in-depth reading, I do sell them. You can check out my Etsy shop, or you can message me on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. I'm going to have everything linked in the description box down below for you to be able to contact me, and I can't wait to see you all in my next video. I hope you have a good one. Bye.